Chesterfield County Public Schools' daily expectation is that students are provided a high-quality learning experience in a safe, supportive, and nurturing environment. Central to this is creating learning opportunities that are innovative, engaging, and relevant, designed to connect our students to real-world experiences. The school division's aggressive new strategic plan, Imagine Tomorrow, focuses on creating a better tomorrow by providing authentic and captivating learning experiences. In this three-part series, we will talk with some of our school board members and leaders about the vision, mission, and goals of the strategic plan. Today, I am with school board members Dr. Javaid Siddiqi of the Midlothian District and Mrs. Dianne Smith of the Clover Hill District to discuss the vision and mission of Imagine Tomorrow. Welcome so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's start with the why. Why does the school division need a strategic plan, and why is it important?
Well, we're required by state to have an improvement plan. What we have is a strategic plan. And so I think we think about our strategic plan to make sure we're making sound investments. So it drives our budgetary decision making. How are we going to be spending our money this year and the next 5 years? What are the implications for our classroom environments? What do we want to see our young people? How do we want to see them engaged? What types of innovative practices do we want to see? So the strategic plan allows us to really be thoughtful, because when you're a large school division, it's one thing to change a set of behaviors in a classroom or in a school, but when you have over 60 schools, you have to have a plan that's really serving as a guidepost for all of our school leaders to look to, and our central leaders to help really coach and build capacity around. So I think the board thought about our previous plan and thought, how do we build on that plan for where the board's sort of collectively, the five of us, how we brought our sort of individual communities to the table. What do we think need to see? What do we want to see in our schools? And so the plan is a representation of the board and also our central leadership's hopes for the future.
So, Mrs. Smith, what led to that? What led to the creation of this plan?
Okay. In 2017, the summer, we as a board realized that we had almost completed our previous plan. The public would most identify that as the design for excellence. So realizing that we really had stepped up, probably we're about 2 years ahead with that plan, we knew that it was time to go back to look at where we were in terms of the lens of where we wanted to be for student growth, as well as to look ahead for what we wanted to be, not just for our students and the academic growth that we're looking for, but for our greater community, our staff, our administrators, our community. We wanted this strategic plan to encompass any and everyone that would be involved in education here in Chesterfield.
So, Dr. Siddiqi, can you share with us the vision then of Imagine Tomorrow, our plan?
Well, it's exactly what you said. I mean, our hope is to create a better tomorrow. We want our students, as they come today, their tomorrow, they've learned something more. They're better prepared for the next day. They're better prepared for the future. In the end, we want all of our students, regardless of their decisions, to find future success, whether that comes in the form of graduating from high school, going into military service, going to community college, or going to four-year, that they are equipped to negotiate the world beyond Chesterfield County Public Schools.
And so kind of to follow up on that, this plan is unique. Now, we've always had our student core values that really pertain to the way people behaved. This plan has organizational values woven into it. Can you share, what the difference is or what those are?
Yeah, that's a great question. In fact, when I came to this as a former school principal, I'm used to thinking about values for students. And one of the things that I think our central leaders really helped drive into this plan was, how do we ensure that these behaviors, these values, these attributes are reflective of the entire continuum, from our students all the way to the school board and everybody in between, that we're modeling these values day in and day out. We're incorporating them into our lesson design, so they're really being reinforced, and we're holding each other accountable to what we want to see for our young people.
And certainly it becomes kind of how we work then as a school division. And so, certainly the plan talks about academics, but beyond that, Mrs. Smith, could you speak to some of the other things that we're working on?
We're working on safety, the health and well-being of, again, not only our students, but everyone involved in education here in Chesterfield County. We're looking at, again, strategically giving value of teamwork in terms of valuing the assets that we're given through tax dollars? Are we spending them wisely, and are we seeing the results of that expenditure? The accountability measure is very much implanted on the part, once again, of everyone within the division.
So Dr. Siddiqi, then, the school division's plan has 2 goals. Could you briefly go over goal 1 and what that's about and what it does to create the infinite learner?
So the infinite learner is rooted in these 6 C's. The idea of these C's will manifest in the form of daily instruction. So how a chemistry teacher or a language arts teacher or a 3rd grade teacher, how are they incorporating those 6 C's into their lesson design? Now, they don't have to be every lesson, but we would like to see students collaborating, for example. We'd like to walk into a classroom and see our students working together. We know those 6 C's are really going to help drive and help students find future success, as I mentioned earlier. So if students can't work together as 3rd graders, how are they going to find the opportunity to work together when they enter the workforce? So those 6 C's really are critical to the students' needs to find future success as it relates to life post Chesterfield County Public Schools.
And then goal 2, Mrs. Smith?
Goal 2 is, again, built on the academics, but takes it a step further. We're really now talking about the safety, the health and well-being of our workforce, our students, as well as, again, accepting that responsibility, the responsibility to be good stewards of our assets. Looking at, are we spending tax dollars the way we said we were, and can we account for the growth that we're seeing, not just academically, but in the entire organization of Chesterfield County Schools.
And so this is a process whenever you create a strategic plan, and you guys were involved from the very beginning throughout. What were some of your favorite parts of that process? What did you enjoy the most?
For me, it really was seeing how we really dug in to make sure every face was incorporated somewhere within this plan. There should not be an employee, a citizen that walks in to our division that does not see something in that plan that is relevant to them and their well-being and their success.
And I would piggyback on that. I've known Dianne Smith for a long time, but we got to spend a lot of time together through many stakeholder engagement sessions. And Mrs. Tammy Hobson and Thomas Taylor, our Chief Academic Officer, those two, we were really attached at the hip through this last essentially year going through a planning. And I think the staff, if you go back to some of the board meetings, I think one of the staff recommendations was to have about 18-month lead time. And I think the board collectively said, well, we'd like to see this sooner than later. And they got it done, and they got it done really well. And so a lot of evenings away from families to engage students, parents, community leaders, business leaders, and Mrs. Smith and I were there with our school board colleagues. And it was really just a refreshing process to see so many people from sort of different backgrounds come together in hopes for the same things for our young people.
Well, and this is really, it's exciting, and the plan is great. So we're really kind of thrilled about what we have to work with going forward. And you both certainly could offer a unique perspective because of your years of service to Chesterfield. So I'd just like to say thanks so much for everything that you do for the county. And thanks for joining us here to share this and your work on the strategic plan. And thank you for joining us today on Engage Chesterfield.